Hey yo, what is up? We're doing a D-Glow mousepad roundup today, and as you can see I have a bunch of them here. I've been testing over the last 4 months. Now I've been following D-Glow for about a year and tracking their progress, and I was very interested in them because they posted a lot of videos and pictures on their design and manufacturing processes, and I found that the transparency was very refreshing and authentic. Now it's been some time. I tried to look up those videos and pictures. They have deleted it from their X account or Twitter account, and I think that has a lot to do with them trying to protect their IP or something like that. That is my guess. Now I've got 6 pads here, and if you take a look at the bottom or the base, you can see each of them has a different base. Each of them also has a different surface. Not only did they send these pads out individually packed, but they also sent out a travel case to fit them all. How incredible is that? First, let me show you the individual packing. Oh my god, I tipped over the camera. It is so big. Let me just check the angles. Well, what's done is done. I tipped over my own overhead camera. But this is in essence what the packaging looks like. This is like a huge box, well protected. And I wanted to show you the inside because basically they're shipping out these pads like a glass pad. They treat each soft pad like a glass pad. They're shipped out in these hard boxes, well protected on the sides. This is a little bit overkill in my opinion, but I respect that they take so much care protecting their pads for shipping. Now let me show you the bag they sent out. This is a travel case. Now I've got the old logo. They've got a different logo now, but this is the old logo, D-Glow. Very nice, like a travel briefcase. Let me open it up for you. I don't have any space here, but I want to do my best to show you guys what it looks like on the inside. It's hard shell on the outside. On the inside there is this net thing to keep your pads in place, I suppose. Very good. I've put in about 10 pads inside one of these boxes. Really good for transporting and long-term storage. Okay, so we're back. This will start off with the B4N anime pad. This is the only pad that has the anime girl on top with a katana. This is also the thickest pad of the lot. If I'm not mistaken, this is supposed to be a 6mm pad, but if I'm measuring it out on my calipers, it's showing me about 5.3. If I lightly clamp it down, 5.4 maybe. Yeah, 5.3. 5.4 is what I'm getting, sometimes even 5mm thickness if I clamp down hard on it, but this is still a pretty thick pad. It's got extra soft base. It is not like Poron, but it is very much like a Poron base if you're used to that. In my opinion, this was on the first day, it felt like a Raiden to me. I performed really well. I enjoyed it very much, but it has somewhat slowed down a little bit. For me right now, it's more of a balanced pad. Again, the standout feature of this pad is that it's 5.5mm thick. On thicker pads like the Viper, it feels a little bit slower. You can see it's fast. I mean, I'm not saying this pad is a slow pad, but on certain type of mouse it feels a little faster. Sometimes it feels a little slower. On the Viper, this feels actually slow to me. On dot skates like Obsidian Raids, this feels glides a lot better. But if you're using something like a Antec Ultem, these are going to be incredibly, it's going to be like air hockey. It's so fast and it's absolutely incredible if you're using Ultems, of course, or maybe a nylon 66, anything with like a really hard skate. Maybe some of the Skypad versions also have very hard surfaces. Those will feel extremely fast. On the Viper, again, when I do the spin test, it looks like it's going really fast, but when you're actually using it, it has a little bit more resistance because of that bigger surface, in my opinion anyway. Let me move on to the next pad, which is the black one. This one is called the Jin. Again, this one is a proper Raiden feel. Now, a Raiden is more spandexy in my opinion. This is not as spandexy, but it is just as smooth. You do not feel any kind of texture on the palm of your hand. It's very quick, but not to a point where it's uncontrollable. Very easy to control. This is by far my favorite pad. I would give this pad like a 9 out of 10. And the only reason it's not 10 out of 10 is because it's black. Well, it's not really black. It's kind of like charcoal or deep gray. It's not really black, but I don't really like dark black pads. But it just so happens that all the pads that I do well in are in black or a very dark color. I don't know why, it just happens to be that way. But this is, out of everything, this is my favorite one. I wish they made one in a different color. Again, with huge fat pads, they're really nice. With the hit scan pads, they're also very nice and smooth. On Obsidian Reds, very manageable and playable as well. And again, on Ultems, Antec Ultems, these are like ice hockey. My favorite kind of feet to use on this is, to be honest with you, the Viper V3 Pro is the best, because you're getting a fast pad and the fat pads kind of like give it a little bit more control, if that makes sense to you. I mean, for some people it might be the complete opposite, but for me, this is how I feel about it. So, don't take my word for 100% sure, because what for me feels this way, for you it could feel another way. But I'm trying to I'm trying to interpret my experience with it. Very smooth, non-abrasive surface, very nice and quick, but not super fast, not spandexy, if that makes sense. Let's move on to the next pad. Let's take a look at the base as well. This base is different from that first one, which was more like a pour-on. This one is more like a, what do they call this, SCR or PU? I don't know what they call it, but this is the base that you find on most Chinese pads that come out. You will recognize it immediately if you're a pad connoisseur. This is not like the high-end you would associate with high-end Japanese pour-on or that nature of feeling, but it is still very soft, extra soft, very nice feeling. It's just that it's the basic base, I would say. Next up, this one is called the Long. This is called Long. This is in Tiffany blue, or in some angles you could say this is green. Again, this surface is textured. It's got the D-Glow logo, the old logo on it. It is very nice. Again, this is not it's difficult to say if this is pour-on or PU or SCR. I'm not really sure, but I think it's closer to pour-on type of base, but it doesn't feel as squishy as a pour-on, if that makes sense. The surface is a cloth surface. It is not abrasive, but it is not a super smooth type. There is a little bit, you can feel it's cloth. Obviously, because of the light color, it's going to pick up dirt very quickly, very easily. I can already see some specks of dirt on it just from my arm rubbing over it over the last 4 months. I mean, you can clean it out, scrub it out if you want. I'm sure it's not a problem, but that's the nature of pads with light colors. If you're going for fancy colors, popping colors, they're not going to stay very clean for very long. Again, this is what I would describe as a new age Artisan Zero type of surface. It's basically a Zero, but it's faster and it's smoother. Now, I got nothing against the Artisan Zeros, but to me it was a little bit noisy, scratchy pad, and it felt very dry. I find the this Tiffany Long to be a little sticky for my Viper V3 Pro with the fat skates. This pad does do very amazing with dot skates like these Obsidians or nylon 66s. It's very kind of controlled or balanced control in my opinion. Now again, if you're using the Ultims, my favorite skates of all, Ultims feel like you're on ice hockey. It's just incredible in my opinion. It will add a little bit more speed and control. Next up, let's move on to the purple Yi. This is called Yi. Now that I forgot to rate that Tiffany green blue pad, in my opinion, I would say that pad is I'm going to rate it to 7 out of 10, or 6 actually, or maybe 6.5 out of 10, because it's not exactly my favorite kind of surface. It was not as speedy as I like it to be. The black pad before it, the Jin, that was my kind of pad. That was a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 if it was a different color. But the purple one is also one of my favorites. Again, this is not a super fast surface, but it is fast enough that I will like this kind of surface. This is a cloth surface, kind of textured. Again, less texture than a Zero. Does not make any kind of scratchy sounds. I wanted to pull out my G Pro Superlight because the Superlight makes a really scratchy sound on the Artisan Zero. Very minimal scratchy sound on the purple Yi. I rate this pad 8 out of 10. It is a much smoother version of the Tiffany Long, which means it is significantly faster and more to my taste. I do have a bias for speed, but the Yi pad, this pad isn't just blind 300 miles per hour. It's got some 15-inch Brembo brakes. I feel like it can stop on a dime. This pad, it's got my name all over it. I tried it with Viper V3 Pro skates, with the X1 stock corner skates, with the Thorn stock skates. My favorite is the Ultim and nylon 66s. I had a really phenomenal experience with it, particularly the nylon 66 skates from Nitro Factory. Now let's move on to the next pad. Again, I rate this pad an 8 out of 10, very highly rated. Again, a little bit better than the Tiffany Long. This one is the red LAN. This one is called LAN, LAN. This one is a hybrid surface, which means it is basically a Hayate Otsu kind of surface, but the weave is not the same. It doesn't have that it doesn't have that left-right weave, but you can see there is some kind of textured weave on it. Hybrid surface. It's almost identical to the Hayate Otsu, which is my all-time favorite pad. So needless to say, this pad is hitting me with all the right feels. Right out the bat, it feels quick and controlled at the same time. I really enjoy Hayate Otsu. It is my favorite pad of all time. You can use it with any kind of pad. or any type of skates. It will feel fast, yet it will feel controlled. With the Obsidian Reds, it still feels really nice, glides quickly and stops on a dime. I like it very much. Quick and controlled at the same time. A very unique texture because of that weed. You know, I think it's probably half the price of a Hayate Otsu, if I'm being honest, and that's why this is a really good deal. The base is red as well, and it's got that print or texture, or again, this is, I wouldn't say this is a Poron base. This is kind of like a combination of the regular rubber base and Poron base. It feels like in between those. It is an extra soft. The thickness, if I'm not mistaken, is about 3.5. They're all about 3.5 or 3.3 if I clamp down hard on it, 3.4 if I'm gentle on it. So about 3.5 millimeters thickness, extra soft, very nice feeling. I would highly recommend this one. This one I rated a 9 out of 10. One of my favorites. This one and the black one is my favorite ones. And this one is the latest one. They sent me two of these. One is in black, or not really black, kind of like, it's more like dark gray, but you can say it's black. And this one is obviously this one is green. This one is called Ju, and in Chinese Ju means 9. And why is it called 9? Probably because it is another 9 surface. It is very slow, but I wouldn't say it's super slow. I mean, in your hand you don't hardly feel it being slow. It is very smooth surface. There is a little bit of texture on it. It's a cloth surface, but again, it is a silent texture surface. It is not a scratchy, dry surface. But the green color is a little bit more poppy compared to the Artisan Type 99, which is more of a muted green or pastel green, just like the Artisan Dye Orange, which is kind of like a pastel orange or a peach. In real life, that's what it looks like. On camera, it looks a little bit more poppier. The green on this pad is a lot poppier in real life as well as on camera. This is the new D-Glow logo going forward. I think they're going to stick to this logo. The old logos, they had them stitched to the edge or to the corners of the pad. I kind of don't really like it because your mouse could run over it and it could be a hindrance. I much prefer the new logos, even though it's huge on the corner, but you're less likely to run your mouse right over it. They used to sew on these tabs onto the pad, and this one is called LAN, so I'm assuming that this word in Chinese means LAN. And for the purple, you can see it's a different word, so this one is called Yi, I suppose, and that's why they used to sew it on there. Some people like it, some people don't. I prefer the new logo, but there you go. This is the Glow. I didn't talk about the base on this. This one is Poron. You can clearly see it is Poron. If you're used to playing with pads all day, all kinds of Poron bases, SCR bases, PU bases, you will know the difference almost immediately. Super squishy when they are Poron, and this one is definitely Poron. Is it better? Is it worse? It's all the same to me, in my opinion. Poron is just a brand, a type of rubber, but they're all squishy, just that Poron is just a little bit squishier, if that makes a difference to you. On this pad, again, this one is the Type 99 kind of surface, very controlled. In my opinion, I feel like dots work better for this surface than huge pads. The huge pads work better for the faster surfaces where you get a little bit better control, in my opinion, for me anyway. For these kind of surfaces where it's really controlled, almost muddy, I like the dot skates. It gives it a little bit of artificial speed and I like that. So ultimately for me, smaller pads also work well. The bigger pads, not so much. I mean, still workable, still playable, still fun, but it's going to feel a little bit slower on Viper V3 Pro stock feet. So anyway, that is my wrap up of all the D-Glow pads that I have in hand. I hope you enjoyed this video and took some useful information. Man, you have no worries at all if you're looking for good quality pads at affordable prices, at very competitive prices. These are going to be highly recommended. I don't know what they're going to end up like in Europe and NA, taking into account shipping costs and stuff like that. But if they have a good suppliers there that can handle all the logistics, and you can get these for, let's say, $35-40, it is an incredible deal for really high quality pads. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.